The strategic planning aspects of the IT portfolio are created and solidified. A common mistake is wanting to set the world on fire without any matches. Goals and objectives must be achievable. If goals are not attainable because of lack of resources, schedule or cost constraints, or cultural issues, change the goals. Changing goals is not an uncommon practice. The critical activities of the tasks include: perform baseline assessments to develop an understanding of capabilities and resource constraints. Define, or most probably refine, objectives for doing portfolio management. Develop metrics and success criteria to demonstrate success. Create the portfolio management strategic plan including the work effort, resources required, people, process, technology, tools, and facilities, steps and activities that need to be performed, key milestones, timetables, and goals. Objectives are the reason for doing IT portfolio management. Objectives are paired together and the strength of the relationship between objectives, as determined by the decision makers, is established. This creates an initial ranking. Then weights are assigned to each objective based on its strength, which can be determined by a number of factors including its criticality, timing, and importance. Each objective is given a numerical score, and the total of scores for the objectives is determined, cumulative score. Each objective is then assigned a percentage based on its score divided by the cumulative score. The sum of all percentages for all objectives should equal 100%. An example of the weighting and percentages assigned to strategic and tactical objectives is shown. There are 3 important points. Defining objectives involves creating definitions that are unambiguous, relevant, achievable, and measurable. Objectives must be categorized according to specific areas, customer, strategy, technology, and delivery categories. Each criterion contains sub-criteria that are also weighted according to importance. The degree or standards, strong, moderate, low, none, that each IT investment meets an objective, and the weighting of these factors provides a higher degree of accuracy in analyzing and scoring investments. The investment strategic map that evaluates each project against each objective. The resulting heat map as indicated by the various shadings shows the strength of each of these relationships, low, moderate, strong, extreme, based on different shadings. The investment strategic map is an advanced IT portfolio management capability. Accurately defining objectives provides a roadmap for business and IT management. Objectives drive critical success factors and key performance indicators that monitor and track specific parameters to assure a company is meeting its objectives and business strategy on a timely basis. According to research, 80% of IT measurement programs have traditionally failed because the technology solution was too rigid, too expensive, or did not improve anything. However, defining metrics is the only way to demonstrate the effectiveness of IT portfolio management. If an objective cannot be measured at the end of the initiative runs the risk of perceived failure. There are 5 stages in developing a performance measurement program. The program must be tailored to the IT portfolio management baseline assessments, defined objectives, and maturity model. The outline provides activities for business and IT management to build an effective program for evolving an IT portfolio performance measurement culture. The performance management process cycle should be completed on a monthly basis, or quarterly if significant effort is required, for data collection and analysis. Ideally, a current scorecard, that is, a dashboard, should be available to managers that is continuously updated as soon as performance indicators are known. External benchmarking should be conducted on an annual basis. IT portfolio management emphasizes the alignment of IT strategy to business strategy. Companies continuously experience difficulty translating the traditional IT efficiency metrics, that is, doing things right, and the business emphasis on IT effectiveness metrics, that is, doing the right things. Organizational alignment and agility are the cornerstone of effective companies, but companies are struggling to bridge the gaps between these goals and implementation tactics. Determining value, goals, objectives, priorities, strategy, tactics, processes, and metrics involves disparate sources of input, for example, IT management versus line of business, current versus target performance, individual versus group incentives, etc. To simplify the details and tie them to objectives, companies must manifest their goals through identifying critical success factors, the core areas they must address in order to achieve their goals. Detailed progress toward achievement of critical success factors is measured through key performance indicators. In developing key performance indicators, the adage of less is more holds true to form. People will lose focus on key performance indicators if too much is measured. Achieving a balance of measuring the right indicators with the right number of key performance indicators is critical. Ideally, IT portfolio measures should reflect cross-company measures, essentially eliminating silos that exist between business units and divisions. Measures, as expressed through scorecards, dashboards, and other means, must be used by IT and business executives to reduce the probability of problems, gain earlier insight into potential problems, and anticipate opportunities. Thus, measures should not only provide the status of current conditions, but should serve as leading and lagging indicators across the company. To be effective, measures must be managed, monitored, benchmarked, and communicated. Their use must be mandated as standard operating procedure, compared against industry norms, and they must provide valuable gap analysis to spur innovation. In addition, measures should be tightly linked to performance standards, as well as compensation and incentives, employee reward and recognition systems. At this early stage in the process, measures are defined to demonstrate the effectiveness of the effort and identify areas for subsequent improvement of the process. The measures used to demonstrate effectiveness of the IT portfolio management process, however, will undoubtedly link to the measures of the portfolio content as the effort progresses. Keeping this in mind early will greatly increase the likelihood of success downstream. One final note of caution around metrics: they are not always as quantitative as some people might think. IT measurement, and measurement in general, is as much art as science in analyzing and assessing objective versus subjective variables, tangible versus intangible assets, and reliable versus questionable data. To the seasoned methodologist, this is fundamentally an assembly activity. Simply organize all of the information developed in previous tasks into a presentable deliverable for the sponsors and appropriate stakeholders. To the seasoned practitioner, this is the close of the sale. During this activity, the seasoned practitioner presents and gets approval for the approach, goals, objectives, and success criteria. This person also gets commitment for participation and funding for the effort. As with any other improvement approach, heads will nod up and down when the approach and benefits are presented. People nod off when the rubber hits the road, effort is required, change is required, and pain is perceived. Completing the strategic plan means nailing the key stakeholders down to do IT portfolio management. The portfolio strategic plan synthesizes the baseline assessments, defined but attainable objectives, metrics, and success criteria into a cohesive charter replete with a plan. It is at this stage that software solutions, also called tools, used for IT portfolio management are selected or validated. Often a mismatch between a tool and its requirements are carried way too far through the process, generating rework or additional effort. In general, if the scope and objectives are light, simple office automation tools will suffice. If the scope is larger and the objectives are loftier, more robust tools are required. Above all else, IT portfolio management is a mechanism to communicate in support of decision-making. Therefore, a communication plan should be created and put forth. Effective IT portfolio management includes communication throughout the entire process. This is not spam but the planned delivery of key messages via appropriate mechanisms replete with acknowledgement of receipt and demonstration of understanding. Key stakeholders, types of messages, and their corresponding delivery mechanisms should be identified. It is often worth the extra effort to identify events that would trigger communication, including issues that surface during the process and attainment of milestones. Communicating early and often allows for mid-flight course correction and minimizes the impact of surprises.